soul with the keys to your sin. I scratch the surface down into your life. I see the signs that were here for trouble. A hard road and a left behind. Killing time on things that money can buy.
And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Chris Akin Presents. I am Chris Akin, the frustrated one over here. The less frustrated one over there in his Iron Maiden gear is the one and only Mr. Erik Ferentinos. Erik, how are you, man?
What's up? Doing good, doing good.
Oh, I am about to take this computer and every other computer in this house and just throw it in the backyard and be done with podcasting.
I know,
altogether.
I'm actually now praying for the robot AIs to take over so they could come fix this show.
Oh, I am so frustrated. Dude, as I told you in the 1 second before we went live, I literally just did an interview not 20 minutes ago with Derek Davis from Babylon AD. Did the interview, had no issues, none. Didn't turn a damn thing off. Nothing. Literally.
You're turning me off. No kidding.
I know it, dude. I just can't believe it. Everything went perfect. Everything went smooth. Zip, done. I checked it. Everything recorded. I come back in here not 15 minutes later. Didn't turn anything off. Not my lights, not the sound, nothing. Go to connect to you. What is going on?
Right.
Dude, it has been ghost. I think the StreamYard gods have just cursed me. I got so used to StreamYard that I'm just fighting learning. So, and I'm old now too, where I don't learn as quick. And I think I'm just being retarded here, and I just am struggling with this stuff. But nobody wants to hear about this. Enough with me bitching and moaning. How are you, sir? How is your week? How's everything going in the world of Mr. Erik Ferentinos?
Going well, got back from playing a couple gigs with the Stephen Piercy band.
Nice.
We played in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
And I always have like a fear when I'm in Louisville that stems back to when I first joined the band.
Okay.
And I got strangled by a bouncer at a club. And I was, mind you, this was like 25 years ago. So I was more slimmed down and cut, younger guy.
Sure.
And was, after the show, went to go hang out inside this bar. It was Clicks, I think, in Louisville, if I recall. And it was kind of like a big pool hall place.
Okay.
Like a big cowboy bar kind of thing. Huge place. But we decided, we had a tour bus at the time. This was like maybe 2002, 1 or 2 or something like that.
Okay.
We had a tour bus, but we had got off the bus to go inside after the show and just go do like an informal meet and greet by the bar.
Okay.
Me, Frankie, the sound guy, a couple of, I think Todd, our drummer at the time, was with us. And I put a beanie on when I walked in there.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm standing there talking to a couple fans, everything's chill, this roided out bouncer guy just walks up to me and just grabs the beanie off my head and just throws it on the ground.
Now, what was the beanie? Did the beanie say like NWA or something on it, or?
No, it didn't. But I was not aware that this club had some kind of no hat rule or beanie rule or something. Some kind of dress code stipulation that I wasn't even made to be aware of. You know what I mean? I just was trying to be a little more low pro myself.
Sure.
Walking back into this bar after, and we were in the band, if you will. So anyways, I wasn't trying to be a threat to this guy in any way,
Right.
but I picked up my hat and I just wanted to go, hey, I go just like this. I go, hey, you didn't have to do that. I mean, I play before I even got the word band out of my mouth,
Right.
He acted like he wasn't interested in what I had to say. He's like, and then he just clotheslines me. Right. And he's trying to put me in what I think is an illegal chokehold, but
okay.
Anyways, I did manage to I remember like holding on to his like forearm
right,
with all my weight. You know what I mean? Just like trying to keep enough because I was starting to fade out. He was like almost getting me there.
Oh wow!
He started getting frustrated. He was like moving back and forth. My neck's all, But I see that he got the attention of another bouncer that was on the other side, and I'm thinking, oh, good, this guy will come over and tell him, hey, that guy's in the band or whatever. No, that guy grabs me by the feet. Now they both have me. One's got me by the feet, the other's choking me out, and I'm like, and as I'm like going away, I'm like reaching for the band. I'm like, and they're like kind of like wondering what's going on. They're like, what's apparently in hindsight, they thought that it was a gag or something or a joke, which is ridiculous. But they did finally come over like, hey, what are you doing? He's our, the guitarist.
Guitar player.
Yeah, the guy ended up like throwing me down on the ground, and I, got out, and I remember going on the bus and telling Steven, I'm like, you wouldn't believe it. I just got strangled. And he's like, what? And next thing you know, we got the owner, our tour manager at the time, this guy Tony, had like a clipboard with him of like tour stuff, and we all kind of like went back in there for a minute, and he's go, what are you doing? This guy's with us, he's in our group, what are you doing? Strangle. And the roided out guy just grabs Tony's clipboard, just throws it, just smashes it. The owner of the club's like, we're like, hey, what's up with your guys? They roughing our guys up. He's like, F you. He just, he didn't care. And I just, at that point, now I'm thinking like Dukes of Hazzard, we're in Kentucky. I'm like, Cooter might be on the payroll, or whatever.
Right.
So Roscoe Pico Train might be on the payroll too, So I just realized that like those kind of places in the South or whatever, you gotta like just be careful, for the most part. So when I go, I'm just not like apt to really go out and put myself out there very much. Like I didn't even go out
airport to hotel to club to hotel, and
well, for Louisville, I did not go out into that place. I didn't go out there to go say hi to anybody. I just stayed backstage because I'm permanently hurt from that incident. Yeah,
scared of that town.
Right.
It's funny.
But I remember the show itself went well, and then we just had to drive to Ohio. We had a kind of a cool Sprinter type van, and Blas Elias drove us.
Okay.
And we played the I forgot what the fair was in Ohio. Rock the Block.
Okay.
It was Rock the Block. And it was actually, I thought it was going to be an outdoor thing on the street, but it was in a theater, some Murphy theater place. That what was interesting there, I've never had this happen before, but there was some kind of drama going on with the front of house sound guy at this Ohio show, and he basically stormed off and walked off the job, like about 10 minutes before we were supposed to hit the stage. He's just left in a fit of anger and took off. And going backwards, when we got into town, this was like an old boomer dude. Okay. And I couldn't tell it was just his sense of humor or what, but he was like no F's given about anything.
Right.
At all. I was like, hey, are you the front of the house? Goes, depends who's asking. He's like, that kind of guy. He's like, have you seen a plug for this? Yeah, my pants. He was just everything out of his mouth was just an offensive thing. It was like almost like comical to the point of comedy. But I guess after all these incidents between the band and him and our tour manager and him, at some point Jason must have said something to the promoter, because she, I think, yelled at the guy or something, and he was like, fine, I'll give you your money back and I'll just leave. And there's all these events going on. Like I think the Home Depot guy from Boston that replaced Brad Delp, he was like playing in the next lot over. Like there was, I think, like 5 stages going on in this downtown area, Wilmington. Wilmington, right?
Yeah, I know Wilmington. Yeah.
So I don't know. He threatened to leave, and I'm standing behind my amps. I got my in-ears. I'm ready to go, and I'm like, oh my god, what's happening right now? Never in my career have I seen that ever happen, where a guy just got flustered after a whole day of being a jerk and just walks off. But I don't know what they did to have him come back, but I had a feeling he would, because it's like your whole reputation kind of hinges on that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, and if you walk off in Wilmington, guess what? Everybody's gonna know.
Yeah. So it was an early show. We were supposed to go on at 7.
Okay.
And I don't think people even realized we were playing that early. So maybe it was a blessing that it kind of this drama unfolded, because then by the time we did play, it was packed and everybody was in there.
Okay.
But like at first, it looked like it was about like half full in this place, and I was like, oh, this
Right.
is gonna be a little not cool. But then it was cool. It was very cool, and
Sure.
it was a good time. And then me and Johnny had to go home, and Warren and Carlos go out and met those guys to do a third show. They had to go back to Kentucky to go play Rock the Dam or something like that.
Right.
So I wasn't there to know how that went, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But the two shows that we did were great. Next, let's see, this Thursday I got to take off because we have the Voices of Rock
Okay.
run, which is Brett Michaels, Vince Neil, and Stephen Piercy.
Is Vince going to be there?
They're expecting him to be there. He was going to the rehearsals. He's, has friends meeting him out there. So
Okay.
these are all inside things that I've heard.
Well, at least he's healthy enough to show.
Right. Now,
That's
you know what
good.
I should bring up really quick? That was just a little
Yeah.
side note involving his band. Because,
Yeah.
of course, he's got Blando and, oh, my God,
Dana
now
Strum.
Dana Strum. So that's who I want to talk about, Dana Strum. So,
Okay.
I've shown us Jake the A-hole on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
We've showed stuff from him. Well, I don't know why he's doing this, but he's a conspiracy guy. If you guys haven't followed along the show, he's somebody that I've watched for years. He's funny, and he was always a flat earth guy, and always busted NASA with all their fake stuff.
Right.
But he basically was insinuating or trying to claim that Dana Strum was Ozzy Osbourne at the farewell concert.
What?
Yeah. and he did this whole video on it, and he was like, had Dana Strum interviews, and I guess within some Dana Strum interview, Dana had like impersonated Ozzy, his voice. He did like a little funny impersonation for a second.
Okay.
And the dude pauses it, puts it back. He's listening to it again. He's like, there you go. That's Ozzy. He's Ozzy. Ozzy must have died already before that, or, whatever it was, but it was ridiculous. I mean, there is no way that Dana Strum was Ozzy in this thing.
No.
I just would never believe that in a million years. They don't look enough alike. The guy I saw at that farewell concert was definitely Ozzy.
Yeah. Come on.
The guy taking pictures with people, with Youngblood and everybody.
Yeah. I mean, that was
totally
Ozzy. Dude, there's so many conspiracies that are out there about Ozzy, about his passing and everything else. It's like, all right, enough.
That's not the first one that I heard where Dana
No.
Strum's name came up, where they're like, Dana Strum is actually Ozzy Osbourne. Like, this is like some stupid rumor that's like going on, that because I know Dana, and that's just so ridiculous to me. But then it also, where I'm going with this is maybe Jake's finally got compromised for something, because he's been actually allowed to talk about some of these conspiracies, because he's been allowed to have his channel go over 50,000 subscribers, and maybe
So you think that itself is a conspiracy? That this guy has a big enough audience that the elite want to use him? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I don't know how they get to some of these people at that level. You know what I mean? Like, but I always, like, when I was watching videos for any kind of conspiracy stuff, I trusted the ones that were under 50,000 more.
Sure. Okay.
Because they didn't have as much to lose as somebody who maybe was given what they always wanted, a channel that's doing really well.
Right.
But maybe they have to put in some more BS now to kind of ruin the credibility of their movement that they have going, if that makes any sense. Like that. Now, they might have had some things that were saying that was true, but now he's going to say something that's so stupid and ridiculous that any of his people that go and repeat it'll look stupid.
Right. Well, if he's got a big audience, he might be feeling the wrath of Miss Sharon Osbourne, who I hear is actually throwing some jabs at people that are saying things about Ozzy's death.
Okay.
She's actually been out there saying, there's an awful lot of bullshit that's going on out there with and I'm not gonna try and pretend that we didn't at least speculate on it on CMS on Saturday. We did.
Right.
But there is the speculation that Ozzy went out Blaze of Glory style. Mm-hmm. Like just finished the show, and started doing unfathomable amounts of drugs to go out the way he lived, that type of thing.
Right.
I'm not buying that one necessarily, but I've heard it. I don't know. I mean, you saw the clips. Do you think that man is capable of, partying hard?
Oh, well, yeah, certainly. I mean,
You do? See, I don't.
oh, wait. So do I think Ozzy's capable
Yeah,
of partying
you think
hard?
that Ozzy that we saw could do lines of coke?
Well,
Could
if he was, anyone can do lines of coke. Are you going to survive that? Maybe you don't want to, But I mean, one thing I heard, and you probably did too, was that paramedics were called out to his house or something like
Yes.
that. And I mean, that is in line with maybe all the excitement of this, did wear him out after, like, he
Mhm.
had the adrenaline of this final show and he was so stoked to be there. But after he got back, he was probably pretty tuckered out, I would
Sure.
imagine, from that trip. Actually, I don't think he went back to the States, right? He just
No, he
stayed in
stayed in
Birmingham.
England. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. They were called out, but he had some kind of a medical emergency. I don't know. I don't know if they've done an autopsy since then or
Yeah, I
anything,
don't
or
know. I
even
know
if they would.
the funeral's tomorrow, and of course it's being live streamed. But
Is it?
the funeral is tomorrow at like 1 p.m. England time. So what is that? Like, it's like 7 a.m. I think. 7, 8 a.m. my time, and probably like 2 a.m. your time.
Is it going to be open or closed casket? I mean, he's a Catholic, right?
Yeah. And
Although she's,
I'm betting
well,
open.
you think open?
I'm betting open just because it's Ozzy, and he ain't gonna look that much different than he did
Right.
2 weeks ago.
He's so stretched out that it's still gonna.
Yeah, he'll probably look just the same. You'll be sitting here
Right.
waiting for him to get up and sing.
That would be hilarious, by the way.
Wouldn't that be if they're
Yeah.
like doing like a procession down the street or whatever, and all
He
of a
gets
sudden,
that. Dun, 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 dun.
let's get crazy in these streets. Believe me, I wish that would happen. That would be so Ozzy. But yeah, I'm not believing that any of this stuff. I honestly think there is something to, and forget Ozzy for a minute. We've all heard a million stories before about this guy hanging on until his wife or his daughter flew in to say goodbye. And, we've heard that story a million times. I honestly, truly feel like this concert may have been Ozzy's. I want to do this one last time. I'm going to do this one last time. And he put every ounce of life force he had left into doing this one last time. And then he died. And I have less problem believing that than I do that it was Dana Strum secretly dressed as Ozzy.
Right. That's so ridiculous.
Because it was Mark Slaughter. No, I'm kidding.
I will say that it seemed like everyone was totally shocked that he wasn't going to be alive in 2 weeks. No one seeing him at that thing expected him to die that soon. No one.
Nobody did. I mean, everybody. Well, he seemed so full of life in like the backstage. I mean, he was in a chair, obviously, but he seemed pretty with it. Like he didn't seem like he was like some doddering old idiot pushed into the corner and then just shoved out there to sing. He seemed with it.
Well, anything's possible, man. I see every day on Facebook so many people just dying that way, where no one was expecting him to die, but they just did. And I guess it's always kind of been that way to an extent.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you get to 50, Bill Burr was just joking about that on his stand-up or something. He was like, age 50 to 55, it's no surprise if you just hear a thud up in the bathroom.
Right.
And that's the age. Like if you can make it past a certain age, chances are you'll still keep going. But there's this critical kind of age, that like 49, 59 zone, where you're really got a good chance of croaking because you might not even know you had pre-existing stuff going on.
You may not, but anyway, I don't really want to do yet another week of Ozzy.
No.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little Ozzy'd out at this point.
Right. Well,
Had
you
him.
know, I've just had to bring it up because I saw this last night and I was laughing at Jake, and I just thought it was really strange
Sure.
that he would push such ridiculous stuff.
Just silly narrative.
But according to those guys in Blando, they had rehearsals and they're going to be their whole team is coming out there.
Okay.
They've been going over backline stuff. I've been seeing emails and everything. So by all accounts, it seems like Vince intends to be at this thing.
Yeah, well, that's great. I hope it works out. I hope he's healthy. You know, as much as me specifically likes to bust Vince's balls
Right.
sometimes because he does not always sing very well. I am a huge fan of Vince Neil. I definitely always was, and I don't know him. I know you know him. I don't know him at all, but everything that I've heard from people that know him is that he's cool. And even if he was a dick all the time, I certainly don't want to see him dying. You know,
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. I am band musician dying, tired out. We need a break from it. There's too many musicians dying these days.
Right. Well, you know, the 80s ones, I would expect to see more because it just seems like they lived even more in excess than some of the later ones might be doing today.
True.
They were kind of expected to.
Exactly.
But yeah, Voices of Rock Boston, Massachusetts on Friday, Bangor, Maine on Saturday, and Bethel, New York on Sunday.
Nice.
And then I'll be back home for a few weeks. And at the end of the August, I have the big record premiere with the project. We're doing a concert at on the 29th or something. I think it's a Friday, and I'm forgetting the club in Pomona, California. But they sent me the set list, and so I got to learn all their songs. So I'm going to be totally busy doing that. The project is Pump 5 is going to open the show, and they still want me to play the opening show with them. So I guess I'll be playing
double duty, baby.
Double duty that night. If you're interested in seeing that, stay tuned for details this month. I'm sure I'll talk about it more.
Are you ready for 2 hours on stage?
No, yeah, that's not going to be a problem. I think, all together, yeah, it's probably about maybe 2 hours. Yeah, altogether. No, that won't be a problem. I mean, the question is, do I do a costume change?
One with a hat, one without a hat,
right.
So different guy.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's how people look at it too. If you do a costume change, or one you wear a hat and one you don't wear a hat, people will not even know you're the same guy.
Probably not.
Stand on the right side on one set and the left on the other. Nobody will know you're the same guy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Other than that, the airlines, I had to do the Butthole Southwest Airlines on this trip.
Okay.
And it's as bad as it ever was. This one guy on the plane, I was one of the shows I was watching on there. They don't have too much to watch, but I was watching episodes of The Office.
Right.
And maybe that's what made me think of these characters. But this one guy that came on, it kind of looks like the old coot that was on The Office. There's the oldest character, white guy that's on The Office. This guy
Creed.
looked like that. Yeah. But he looked like that guy, but he acted like Dwight Schrute. Like nice. Big time. Like this poor woman, she was there with her husband and she was saving the seat for her husband. I don't know if he went to the bathroom or what, but they have a new rule with Southwest that you can't save seats.
Okay.
That's like there's no seat saving, but whatever, that's for the fake people that are like, no, somebody's sitting in the middle seat. Everybody does that. They put their purse in the middle seat. They put something to try to hope somebody doesn't take the middle seat because it's so tight.
Right.
On there. But anyways, she says to him, oh, my husband's there. This guy, he goes, no, you can't. There's no saving seats. So he just picks up the husband's stuff and just dumps it, plops it somewhere else and sits down. I almost was going to say something. I almost was going to go, hey, dude, why don't you sit over here or, do something? But I was just like, whatever. I'm just letting it unfold with these boomers over here. And then he puts his foot down and like the poor woman that's in the middle now, was just scrunched from this guy. And she's like, sir, can you move your foot? He's like, nope, my foot goes right here by the line. And he's like directing exactly where his foot goes. And then the husband's now has to sit in front of them and he's chiming back. And it's just kind of uncomfortable. There's just such jerks that are passengers on Southwest.
Sure.
It's just, I dread it. on the way back, there was a flight from DC that was like late, and so those people were like the last ones on, and these two kind of young black ladies were walking, and one had a backpack that she had like slung on her thing. Now, one thing I noticed every time the last few people that get on the plane, for some reason, think that they're going to sit in the first couple rows or their stuff's going to fit at one of the closed bins that's in the first couple rows. There's nothing for you. If you're in the C group or the D group, there's nothing for you here.
Right.
Okay, just keep walking to the back of the plane, where is the only place that you're going to get any kind of overhead space or a seat. So please stop. But she decides to stop like in front of me and turn to like see what's up in the bins, and she's hitting me in the face now with her backpack. Like I'm sitting there in the aisle seat, and she's hitting me in the face, and I'm like pushing her backpack out of the way. And she turns, it pretends like I didn't push her backpack. And then she does it again. She turns and hits me with the backpack. And this time I push it again. She goes, "Do we have a problem here?"
Oh, my God.
And I'm all, "Yeah, in fact, I do. You're hitting me in the face with your backpack like I'm not even here." And then, she goes, "Oh, sorry." And then her friend turns and goes, "She said she's sorry." And I'm thinking, like, I didn't want to like let it escalate any further, but I wanted to go, well, actually, she didn't say she was sorry. The first thing she said was, "Do we have a problem?" Which is like, I'm the problem,
Right.
But I didn't go there. I just like, whatever, let it go. And just proceeded to watch movies. I used to be able to use my friend's T-Mobile number to get free internet on Southwest. Like I would always put in my friend Emmy's phone number. I knew she had T-Mobile. And as soon as you put the number in, you're good to go, and you could not have to pay $8 for internet. And I loved it because I have Verizon. I don't have T-Mobile, but they changed it to get all of us freeloaders. Now they send some kind of pin to the actual phone holder, and they have to authorize their device. Okay, so the gig is up. You can no longer cheat and get that.
So in other words, T-Mobile is paying Southwest.
Yeah, that is part of their advertising, to put a benefit in there for you to use T-Mobile, which actually I'm thinking about it. They have so many benefits to having T-Mobile right now that it's way better than Verizon, probably deal-wise, and they do have the coverage that they didn't necessarily have some years back. So I had to watch movies on there because it wasn't going to work. And one of the movies that was there was called Companion.
Yes.
Which I told Chris about. Now,
and I watched it.
You did? Okay, good. Now, you might not remember this, but probably like, I want to say 4 months ago, I saw part of this movie at the mystery movie night.
Right.
At the Regal Cinemas. They had what I thought was a great deal. It was like $5 mystery movie. And all you knew was that it was rated R and it was from New Line Cinema. Okay, so that's all I had to know, because I knew this is going to be creepy or violent. It's a New Line. It's
sure,
Nightmare on Elm Street. All those great movies are New Line Cinema, right? So sure enough, when Susan and I had gone to that movie, and I had my popcorn and soda, and we start watching it, I'm like, okay. Well, that particular night, Susan had just started some medication or something, and she wasn't feeling right. And she decided that she was going to take off like about 20 minutes into this movie.
Okay.
And she tells me, "No, you stay here. I'll get you later," or something like that. Now, life pro tip, guys, just leave with your lady right then. No matter what she says. No matter what she says, just forget about it. Because this is not going to end well.
Right.
And because there was some point I started not enjoying myself with her not being there. I'm thinking about how I made the wrong move, not leaving with her.
Sure.
Now I'm not enjoying the movie, and every little dumb thing about it's making me more irritated in this movie because of what I'm dealing with. And then I had a dude, like, for some reason, even though there was other seats, I guess you do pick out your exact seats in this, but this dude was sitting right next to me, and he was chowing the popcorn and breathing. I could smell his like popcorn breath on me, and that was kind of annoying me too. But anyways, we kind of argued a bit because she was told me that I should just get an Uber and come home, which I hate. I don't even have an Uber account, but I was like, I'm starting to stress out and have palpitations now. But I'm like, "You're gonna come back. I can't be." So anyway, this movie night was a disaster back then, and I kind of never got to see the rest of the movie Companion. So now I'm on Butthole Southwest Airlines, and I'm getting my big chance because what movie do they have in the new releases but Companion? Now, what did you
All
think of
right.
this movie, Chris? You watched it today.
I am not going to lie. I did not enjoy it. I 100%, the only reason I watched it is because you said that we were going to talk about it. And
Right.
I looked it up. It was on, I think, HBO, and
Okay.
I watched it. And I know I texted you at one point and was like, could they have gotten a more average looking girl to be the
Right.
star?
Well, and she was pretty for sure. I could see the psychology with that. Like, they wanted somebody that you would actually take home to mom, like
Yeah.
a pretty for like a girl at college or your neighborhood
Hmm.
kind of way, not some exotically unobtainable girl,
Right.
but
Yeah.
one that you would a good one. Well, it would
Yeah.
look like she would be a good girl, and they made sure that her personality from the beginning was very caring and loving,
Hmm.
which they had a kind of cool thing where I guess when you buy one of these robots, she's basically not a spoiler alert, but she's intended to be like a companion bot,
Right.
or if you're a crude person buying it, a sex bot,
Hmm.
in a way. But she's programmed to just lock on to you. Like you do a setup, like when you buy a new iPhone and
Right.
you're putting in your code and all this stuff. You basically have to do the same kind of setup when you get your
Yeah.
robot woman.
You
And
sit in front of her for
yeah,
3
you sit
seconds or
down, you got to get
whatever.
in, you turn your head left and right, say the safe word or whatever.
Yeah,
Rhubarb.
then it says something like love connection made.
Right. Yeah, love connection. Boop boop. And that kind of makes sense because you'd want to make sure this woman's devoted to you and she's
Right.
programmed to be. And but just the fact that they would have some kind of humanoid robot that acted like the actress playing her played it like she was a total human, like too much.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I mean? She should have had a little bit more stoicism or something. I mean, I just can't. We'd have to be so far into the future to have a Blade Runner
Mhm.
level. Uh, what would you even call it? Not an android, but a cyborg of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, it was and you're hitting right on what my problems were with with this movie. It was a little too far advanced, but they were trying to make it like it was now. You know
Right,
what I mean? They were trying to make it like it's 2025, 2026, not even
right,
further than that.
right,
But it was so advanced. I mean, she didn't even know that she was a robot. And there was that one and there were scenes in this that really made me just cringe. And I'll tell you one and you'll know right away. When he was trying to explain to her that she's a robot when he woke her up,
hmm
and she's like, no, I just love you, and he's like, what's the time and temperature? She's like, oh, it's 2:23 and it's 78 degrees, you know.
right.
And it was like, all right, this
She goes
is,
into Siri mode.
yeah, this is so on the nose and so out front that it's silly that she didn't know this, even though her brain is detecting everything else going on
Right. Well,
except that she's a robot.
and in this movie, you can actually with your controller adjust how smart she is, or
Yes.
dumb, or funny, or aggressive, or things like that. Now, there's a nefarious plot going on with some of the characters there, but one funny thing is they had a gay couple in it right
Yes.
from the start. I remember not being up for that when I was in the movies, but this time it was more comical, I guess, and I actually was able to see where this goes. But this chubby Latino guy, like
Yeah.
who's a little goofy, has a pretty good looking guy with him,
Right.
that's like really into him, and later
All
you
that
find
weird
out.
dancing and stuff at the beginning.
Yeah, there's some cringy like dancing and stuff, but yeah, you're basically all these memories that these robots have are basically just implanted.
Right.
And if you're buying one of the bots, you choose the backstory of how you met. But
Mhm.
apparently this thing, is supposed to not know it's a robot, and one of them actually kind of figures it out. I think they do tend to figure it out. But we are so far away from having
Oh, yeah.
anything remotely like
Mhm.
this. I remember when the Real Doll came out.
Right,
Remember
sure.
Real Doll? My roommate at the time, this was like 30 years ago, got
Okay.
a job like working at that place. He was
Oh.
Yeah, he was an artist and he did molds and
Faces or something, right?
yeah, I guess they had him in there. I don't know exactly what he was doing in Real Doll. I know he enjoyed the job, whatever it was there. I don't know. But those are still basically a mannequin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And here we are 30 years later, there's still nothing remotely like that. I see some videos that are probably fake of some robot companies where they go, "Oh, look, they let the robot run around New York City today."
Look, it's loading a box.
Right. It's like it's jogging and scaring people. And it's kind of ridiculous. And I don't think those are real videos. I think
Well,
those
none
are
of us have ever seen one.
no.
See them on video. Never have seen one in I don't know, like a museum or anything.
Right.
Yeah, it's totally not happening.
And
I believe you that it's fake.
I mean, even now, just with like Tesla vehicles and self-driving cars, like the things that are killing people with those, like the cars like locking and setting on fire or just burning people alive inside.
Right.
It's like the Tesla cars are like possessed, and that's just that level of you would think something like a self-driving car would be basic. You know what I mean? With our
Sure.
technology, that they really should have it working really well, and it's still not working good after all these years. Um, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, no. So check it out. So like, if they actually had a bot like that you're supposed to
Mhm.
have relations with, all the things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like one of the naughty things people would probably do with the bot are things that their real woman wouldn't do, and it would
Of
probably
course.
involve the naughty hole,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Well, what if the Ginsu turd slicer inside decides to like go
Yeah.
overactive, and you could lose your wiener in there?
Yeah. I mean, what if it thinks that it's something? What if it doesn't realize that it's just getting banged in the ass? What if it thinks that it's a foreign object that's invading it and cut it right off, tighten right down and pull it off or something?
In this
Could.
movie, you are able to like bump up the aggression and make this thing actually it wasn't supposed to hurt animals or people, but there was some way to override it and get
Yeah.
them to do that.
They never explained that either. How it was programmed not to hurt anybody, but somehow when she made herself 100% smart, then she didn't have to listen to the programming anymore.
Well, I think that she ran into a guy that worked at the company, and I
Right.
believe he gave her an unlocked thing to do. He was like basically saying, "You're free now. You're pretty much like a
That's
human.
right.
Once you
Yeah.
have this, there's nothing holding you back from becoming whatever you want to be."
Yeah.
And they put college level, brains and whatever. But it wasn't terrible. It did kind of get better, but yeah, they could have played it better with the
Yeah,
acting.
I mean, I liked the guy that was the star of that movie. He's the same guy that's in that show, The Boys, right? He's the star of that movie, that
Oh, is
TV
he? I don't
show.
know.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
he's really fun in that movie. Then that's kind of sci-fi superhero-y type thing. So
Yeah.
he's good in that show. I like him in that show. I don't know. The biggest problem I had with this movie was that the acting was pretty poor.
Right.
And it was like, wow, they got a lot of money to make this turd of a movie. I mean, I understand what they were doing. What they're trying to do is scare the life out of you that this is what's coming.
Right.
This is really sort of like a new age Terminator in a way, because it's
Yeah.
showing that we're going to have robots alongside us here in the near future. We're not going to really know the difference,
Mhm.
and that part is absolutely horrifying to me, is that day is coming, but I don't think it's coming in mine or your lifetime. Maybe my kids, but
It'd be so much easier just to let slavery happen again with people. Then you wouldn't even have to bother, like, right?
well, it would, but
Not for a
allegedly,
certain group of people. Anybody could be a slave, no matter what race
well,
you
the
are.
only problem with slavery is that you'll have too many people trying to always break out of it.
Yeah.
Where if you get a robot army, they'll just do what they're told.
I'm just
In
saying it'd be a
theory.
lot cheaper. It'd be a lot cheaper.
Be a
all
lot
around.
cheaper in the startup costs, but in the keeping them alive and everything else, I mean, what's it going to cost to keep a robot alive?
Elon Musk could put the slave chip, just
Right.
drill it into like some convict, and then he's almost like
Right.
lobotomized, but I don't know. I like to purchase something like one of the bots from that movie would just be astronomical.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and they didn't explain that either. How a couple of college guys basically were able to afford what had to be $100,000 or more purchase of these
Yeah.
robots.
Well, maybe they have like a mortgage on them or some kind of pay
A
plan.
mortgage. Paying my monthly pussy mortgage.
Right. Pretty much.
Yeah, to me it was an interesting movie, not necessarily the best movie, if that makes any sense. It's
Nah.
okay, it was all right, but it does make you think. So if you want to watch a movie that will wake you up to thinking a little bit, that is definitely it. It's
like a Black Mirror episode.
It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is. So, if you're so inclined, what's the name of it again? Companion. Yeah. Worth watching, I guess. Not the worst, not the best. No. Is what it is. All right, let's do this, dude. Would you like to do our first ever live read on here?
Yes, I would.
Would you like to make 28 whole cents?
I would like to see you do that because I think you have to read it.
Yeah,
right?
I have to do the reading, but I will do the reading. So we are going to do a quick read and we'll be right back. Hang tight, people. It is Chris Akin Presents. And here we go. Let's see. This segment, this one right here, is brought to you by Pickaxe, the free speech social media platform that's not run by bots, big tech, or censorship industrial complex. None of them are running it. Pickaxe is running it, goddammit. If you are on Rumble, Pickaxe is your next move. Think of it like if X and Substack had a baby, but with more freedom and smarter tools. Kind of like that movie Eric and I were watching. The baby turns into the companion. See, it's the same exact thing. You, and I do mean you, not me, not Eric, you can post your Rumble videos directly in the feed, and they actually play in the feed with no algorithms hiding your content. How good is that? Even better, with their new beta feature, you can connect your Rumble channels so your videos and live streams auto-post. Sounds like I need to sign up for this. Mm-hmm. Plus, hang back, there's more, Eric. I know you can't believe it. There's more. Full article creation, paywalls, revenue sharing ads, and the ability to have ads on your content with your own promo codes and tracking links so you keep full commissions on sales. Sounds like we're going to have to do this for the next round of Erik Ferentinos picks.
That's right.
And yeah, free blue check verification so bots and burner accounts don't hijack the conversation. This is sounding wonderful. Pickaxe doesn't manipulate your reach. It amplifies your voice. It amplifies it! Damn right. Freedom of speech and freedom of reach. Check it out now at pickaxe.com. Pickax.com. And take your voice back. Stop fucking around and sign up today. Pickaxe.com. 30 cents made, goddamn it.
All right. Tells you how much you make.
Yes, we made it 28 cents.
Nice.
We're loaded. All right, let's do this. Let's do this because I need a drink desperately bad. Let's play one commercial for real, like a real commercial.
Okay.
And then we will come back and we will talk about, I don't know, something. We'll figure it out. Hang tight. It is Chris Akin Presents. This episode of the CMS Network is brought to you by our sponsor, Blackout Coffee. If you are a coffee lover, you will love what they are selling over at Blackout Coffee. Make sure you get yourself some. The only thing woke about this company is the drinker of the coffee because it gives you quite a jolt. I am a personal fan of the Brutal Awakening Dark Roast, but everybody's a little bit different. Make sure you get what is your favorite today. Go to blackoutcoffee.com. Use the promo code CHRIA20
to save 20% on your first order. It's that simple. So one more time, blackoutcoffee.com. That is the link, or use the full link if you're going to shop around. That is scrolling on the bottom, and get yourself some of the best coffee that is out there today. blackoutcoffee.com.
And we are back right here on Chris Akin Presents. It's Chris and Erik. Make sure before we go any further that you're doing all the podcasty things. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, leaving comments, joining the chat room. There's quite a few people in there chatting. I will start popping some of their stuff up here in a minute. And do the Rumble rants or the super chats or whatever the hell it is on the platform that you're watching this on. And do that as well. And make us not as broke as we are.
Are they watching on YouTube? What was going on? I didn't even know you had.
I don't know if it's what
issues with it. I don't think it's on.
I got an email saying it's on, but there's 0 viewers, so I'm thinking it's on
not
another channel or something.
I don't know. Yeah, when I looked, it wasn't going.
This
but you can
upload
it.
I will upload it immediately after. But
okay,
yeah, dude, I'm still trying to figure out Rumble Studio and OBS. This one, for people that have been following along with my pain through the various shows, this is Rumble Studio, and it ain't a whole lot better than OBS. I'm figuring it all out. The stupid StreamYard pricing us out was a real pain in the ass.
Right.
But
well, if we had more super chats, we would have been able to stay with that.
Yes.
But everyone's so cheap that now we have to stoop to going on this low budget.
That's right. Now we're ghetto version.
That's right.
That's what you're getting.
Is everyone happy?
Yeah, you're getting the ghetto version. So, all right. Well, moving forward, dude, you had me watch Companion, but I was sort of in TV mode today while I was working. So I was watching another show on Netflix called Amy Bradley is Missing.
Right.
And I'm just going to tell you this before we even start, and you're going to speak probably more on this than me, because I think you've been on twice as many cruises as I have. How many have you been on? 2?
3.
3. You've been on 3 times as many as me. I've been on 1. And I'm going to tell you, after watching a couple weeks ago, watching the Poop Cruise,
right,
and now watching Amy Bradley is Missing, I'm never going on another cruise again. These things are absolutely dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest. If the cruise line industry does one thing well, it covers up their own crimes. You really don't hear that much about cruise ships having deaths.
Right.
But it seems like from watching this movie that cruise deaths happen almost on every cruise. Have you thought that?
Well, certainly there's medical emergencies that occur. Sure. And Chris is probably right. There probably is somebody that dies on every cruise, and it's probably an older person, because they're the majority of people that are on these things, or people over 50 that have money to go on such cruises. This was never something I could do when I was in my 20s. So you got the older demographic, they're drinking, they're eating a bunch of buffet food, and they could definitely have a heart attack or, just drop dead on there. Now, as far as like going into the water, the decks can get very wet. And you could, if it was a little bit of rough seas, you could slip and possibly fall off. I do believe they have detectors that if someone was to go overboard, they'd know that something happened. Something to like alert them.
Some sort of like laser thing or something.
Right. Now, I don't know if they'd be able to immediately see what went over, but they'd know something. They could stop the boat for a second for sure, just so that they don't get too far away from it. But you're right. I think Tammy's bad situation was kind of heard about more because he's a famous guy.
He's famous, right?
But yeah, as far as going overboard, did they give the statistics of that?
They didn't give the statistics per se, but they went out of their way to there was the mother of this Amy Bradley who's missing. She has spent the last like 30 years or whatever. This happened in 1998.
Okay.
And she has spent all that time, and I'm just going to tell you in advance. If you're somebody that gets emotional watching other people's emotions, you do not want to watch this one because I'm not. You know me. I'm callous as a construction worker's hands. I generally laugh at death and all that kind of shit. I don't have emotion. And I'm watching this thing today and I felt so bad for these people. They're in their 70s now, the mother and the father, and they spend every day still trying to hold out hope that their daughter's alive and just being held as a sex slave on some island
Now,
somewhere.
that is possibly a case, right? Because now I didn't watch this, but I kind of remember the
Yes.
story. Like, there's a photo somebody snapped of her somewhere off
Right.
the ship, right?
Well,
In some kind
that
of
was
bad place.
here. I'll set the tone real quick, and then we'll talk about it so that everybody's on the same page. So she goes out with her family on this cruise. And once she gets on the cruise, they didn't say this in the documentary, but kind of looking between the lines, she was quite the partier. They mentioned a dozen times how much she liked to smoke, which if she's smoking cigarettes, she's probably smoking a little other stuff because they went out of their way. The fact that in a 3-part series, I heard them talk about her smoking 10 times makes me think that she was either a drug user or at least a pot smoker or something. So there's that. The other thing was she seemed like she was a little bit of a runaround girl.
Okay.
Like she's on this cruise with her family.
Right.
But literally, and she was 23, I think they said at the time. So even at 23, and they're all sharing a cabin, she's out running around on the deck and trying to hook up with the band and everything else, like partying. There's all kinds of videos of her dancing at 2:30 in the morning on the dance deck and stuff, which in itself is not bad. But given that she disappeared, you start to wonder, was she throwing some pussy around and somebody got mad and threw her off the boat, or, that type of a scenario. So with all that said, she's on the deck. There's video of her not hooking up, but moving to a room with the bass player in the band.
Oh, like that's your first mistake.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. You'd go with the untalented guy. Jesus Christ.
I'd go the singer or the guitar player. Come on.
Or at least the drummer that has some rhythm while he's banging you. Something. I mean, for God's sakes. But that is kind of the setup. The last thing anybody saw was her getting on an elevator at 3:30 in the morning, going up to this dude's room. Then she disappeared forever.
Ugh.
Or did she? Because it was on every one of these. This person going missing, this Amy Bradley, was at the exact same time, I believe, as like Chandra Levy. Right. Remember Chandra Levy and that Gary Condit killed her or allegedly killed her or whatever? I don't remember the story. But they kept showing like various magazines with the two of them together. So I'm assuming it was the same time. And they were trying to find her. Now here, this is the first thing. So the family, the daughter doesn't come back to the room. They go out, they search the whole deck and all the various places on the boat and stuff. They don't find her. They go to the captain of the boat to see if they could put out just a call over the loudspeaker.
Okay.
Hey, Amy Bradley, pick up a courtesy phone and give us a ring. If you're, wherever you are, let us know where you are, right? Just a simple courtesy ring. The fucking boat people say no. They say they won't do it because it's 7:00 in the morning and it'll wake up passengers.
It's quiet time.
Yeah. And it's like, wait a minute, this person's literally missing. So then they did some kind of weird search where they get everybody on the boat to investigate every room on the boat, and they don't find her. But they don't lock the boat down either. They still pull into port and they still let everybody get off the boat. So anybody, if she was stuffed in a suitcase or something, could have dragged her right off the boat
Right.
without any.
Definitely.
Now you've been on a boat. I'm a little torn on this. The family, as you can imagine, horrified that they wouldn't lock everything down and try to find their daughter. And I understand, and I totally feel their pain. At the same time, you got 2,400 people, all that paid $5,000 a piece on this boat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really lock down the boat for one person?
Sure. I mean, well, I would say yes, because they could probably conduct a full search within an hour,
Mm-hmm.
where they ask everybody to go back to the room for an hour. I think everybody would be willing to do that too if they thought that there was somebody who was in some kind of jeopardy. Taking an hour to figure it out, I don't think anybody would be that bummed out.
Right. Well, I agree, but at the same time, if you've waited your whole life to get to wherever they were going, Cozumel or wherever, and now they're sitting on the boat watching the day go by, people are going to be mad.
Sure. I mean, if it messes up your plans or the band that was going to play or whatever the situation, I mean, I get it, but
I get it, but you know what? Sometimes you just have to be mad. That was my thought. Was
7's not that early. I mean, there is a guy that
Yeah.
for one, you can adjust, I think, how loud the captain's speaker is in your room.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have it turned all the way off to where you're barely hearing it out in the other rooms.
Yeah. You can always go back to sleep.
Yeah, but I think they normally do say something. Good morning, this is your captain speaking.
Right.
They do this at like 8 in the morning or something. I mean, fairly early, and kind of say some of the things that are going on that day or whatever.
Sure.
So 7, I mean, to make a big deal about 7, that's kind of
and they wouldn't do it, and the family is still 30 years later pissed about it.
Yeah.
So moving forward, the girl's missing. And man, this thing, like I said, this was a real, if you're emotional watching this shit, this is not for you, because you will cry. I almost had tears. They talked to the family about getting on the plane and leaving without their daughter, and about what that flight was, and talking about getting on the plane and feeling like they abandoned their daughter and they're letting her be left in the sex trade, and and I just was like, oh, these fucking poor people. I really felt bad for these people. It was.
So what were they thinking, that they would go home, and if she turned up, she'd have to call them and they'd figure it out, getting her back?
That's sort of what they thought, was that if she turned up somewhere, she would probably try to call home.
Right. Well, the cops are probably like, look, your daughter's kind of a hoe. She's probably out. She probably left with somebody off island, and you'll probably hear from her in a couple days.
Right.
There was no alert that went off that somebody went overboard or anything.
No.
So, and now get to where they're might have had a photo from a brothel or something.
Well, that was it. This story caught some life. It caught some life on America's Most Wanted and those types of shows.
Unsolved Mysteries,
Unsolved Mysteries, etc. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy that saw it and was like, oh shit, I talked to this lady. This was like 6 months later. And he was on some island somewhere in the Caribbean, and he swore up and down that this lady, talked to him on the beach, and then some guy came and whisked her away. But he swore up and down that it was her. And then there was another lady that said she was in a bathroom, and this Amy came into the bathroom with a guy, and the guy was like, you're going to go and you're going to do this, and your date is at 8:00 and you're going to do whatever, and blah, blah, blah.
A handler. He saw her with a handler of sorts.
Mm-hmm. And then he was promising her that if she did it well, that she could see her kids and stuff like that. So kind of now this was years later at the second one. So maybe she had a couple of kids.
Witness not to say shit for 10 years instead of alerting someone at the restaurant or something.
Right. So there was that. But from the TV show, somebody sent in these photos these pictures of like this girl in a bikini laying on a bed or whatever, half naked but kind of hot and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Dr. Phil took those pictures and brought in forensic people to measure the grooves in the ears and measure the chin and measure
Okay.
the things that don't change with age. The cheekbones, they said the cheekbones don't change with age, and the chin doesn't change with age, and the wrinkles in your ears and stuff. So they brought in these forensic people who all said, yeah, these match. So it was her.
Okay.
So they still don't have a real answer. Like the documentary, spoiler alert, the documentary ends without him saying, and here's Amy. Because that's kind of where I thought it was going with all this, was we were going to watch all this shit and then we were going to get and in a stunning development, Amy was in a paddle boat paddling away from Epstein Island or something. I expected something. And instead it was just like, we still don't know where she is. We don't know. And once again, they ended with these sad parents. And somebody raised a great question in this, and I do want to ask you this. What do you think is worse? 30 plus years, going from 40 to 70, whatever years old, keeping that false hope that she's still alive and she's going to come home, or somebody turning up her dead body to where, yeah, she's dead, but at least she's dead. Yeah. Which scenario do you think is worse? That's
probably
right?
the dead one's probably worse.
See, I don't know,
because that there's a chance they're alive, to where you can't have that final mourning of sadness that. I don't. You're asking me. That's what I think. Possibly, I would like to at least know that there's a chance. I'd like to never hear from again, wondering that there's a chance they're still alive, than knowing that they died or were murdered.
I'm gonna go the other way with it. I think I'd rather know that they were dead than spend every day, year after year after year, wondering if they're gonna get stabbed today, get their eye gouged out with a grapefruit spoon, whatever kind of sick, so specific, Chris. Shit. Well, that's from Sons of Anarchy, but the sick shit that people do.
Right. Well, they a lot of time they keep these women drugged up in these places. I mean, who knows? Maybe something did eventually bad happen to her, or when the heat started coming on, they were like, "Hey, she's a liability now." I mean, it's probably not good.
No,
obviously. But that's an interesting story. I mean, most of the deaths, like I said, are natural causes on a ship, and then I'm sure some eventually go overboard here and there. And then there's certainly been, spouses that have pushed their
other person over.
Yeah, I think that they've like I said, put some kind of safety features, modern day safety features in, to kind of know if that you're not really going to get away with that. But you could maybe have somebody in a suitcase and get off a port, and I don't know how he was able to do that. Generally, when you leave the boat, you have to scan your boat card that they know you left the boat or never got back on. So that doesn't make sense to me. Like,
well, don't forget, this was 27 years ago.
Okay.
So this was probably before we had all that technology.
All right. Well, you think you didn't have to show your passport and them to write your name down? I'm pretty sure they've always had at least.
Well, that yes, but I mean, I could show my passport and walk off with a suitcase.
Right, but she could be in a suitcase. That's what I'm saying. She would have to be. They would have had to snuck them off inside some kind of thing, like drugged them somehow. And but the whole thing sounds very strange.
Yeah, it is, though. It's a very strange story. And I'm going to be honest. I just saw it and I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I want nothing to do with these boats now, especially when they started showing how often it was. And They actually had video of people jumping off boats and whatever. And I was just like, "Ugh." Dude, did you ever see, I think it was the movie Deep Water. Did you ever see that movie?
Maybe.
There's a scene, I think it might not even be Deep Water, and somebody in the chat room correct me if it's not, but there's a scene, a person jumps off one of these boats or gets pushed off one of these boats. And all they're doing is they're floating in the middle of the ocean, watching the boat light get smaller and smaller and smaller as it goes away. And I don't know about you, but to me, that is the biggest fear in the world, is watching the boat go away. You're a zillion miles from anything, and you're literally just a piece of shark food out there.
Right.
Just waiting to be eaten, hoping you die before the sharks come and eat you.
Yeah.
That has to suck. I mean,
how does that movie end? Does the person get rescued?
I do not believe so, no. It's been a while since I saw it.
An uplifting gem.
Dude, what is the scariest way to go? To me, that is like the scariest way to go.
Well, they say drowning is peaceful in some kind of way, but I don't know.
Drowning, yes,
fire is the worst, I guess they say.
I've been through that. No biggie. It's just fire.
It's fire.
What about falling? Like, to me, being that guy that jumped off the World Trade Center.
Right.
And just for that 10 seconds while you see the ground getting closer and closer, and then having the back of your head go through your eyeballs and stuff as you hit.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
If that wasn't photoshopped or something. Who knows?
Well, I'm just saying in general, people have fallen from bridges.
I think there was people jumping from the building, though. Definitely, yeah, in the fire.
But I'm just saying in general, would falling be more scary than sharks?
I don't know. I mean, they're all horrifying.
They are.
I'm so scared of heights, but I'm scared of sharks too. I mean, I don't go out in the water typically, and when I'm on a boat, I'm very uncomfortable. I mean, I've learned to feel a little better on a giant cruise ship, just knowing that you got all these escape ships, little boats on there, that there's a good chance you'll make it out, and the thing's so huge, and you're on a cruise line with other ships that are out there too, that the chances are they'll be able to kind of save everybody in that situation. Drowning, sharks, that's horrifying. When I'm on a small boat, I totally could see that capsizing right away. We've had friends take us out from the harbor here in Oceanside, and I'm never comfortable. And I don't even like to go.
Sure.
I'd like to think I could maybe swim to land from where we are, but when I don't see land anymore,
right.
No thanks.
No, I hear you. And dude, I know I'm joking about it a little, as I do, but burning ain't no fun either. Let me just, dude, there's I don't know if you ever watched the show The Shield. But, so in The Shield in season 3, I think it is, when they had Armadillo that came in from Mexico and was putting the tires around people filled with gasoline and then lighting them on fire where they couldn't run and just had to sit there and burn to death. Dude, I can tell you, for me personally, I was straight up on fire. Like, everything was on fire. And even after I got up and started walking out of the room a little bit, 2 guys came in and started beating the shit out of me with their gloves, because like my head was on fire. Like literally my head was on fire. Like, I don't even know, like what, like a guy with his head on fire. But, what I remember most is when the paramedics came in. These are guys that see the most horrific shit all the time. And they came in and they took a look at me. They had laid me down on a floor at this point, and they took a look at me, and one of the paramedics turned around and puked.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, because I was burned up 69%, 52% third degree that ended up getting grafts. So, I mean, I was burned to fuck. And
you're just like, that bad, huh?
Well, and dude, you're going to laugh at this, but it's the truth. I remember I see this guy puking, and I see these guys are clearly horrified, and my work people are clearly horrified as well. And the only thing I kept saying to these guys was, my face isn't burned, is it? My face isn't burned. All I cared about was that I wasn't going to look like one of these burn victims that I had seen with the melty face and stuff.
Right, yeah.
That was I didn't want to look like fucking
Freddy Krueger.
Or the character in The Mask.
Yeah.
I was afraid of that or Freddy Krueger. And I do got some Freddy Krueger skin. This stuff here is all fucking alligator skinned like crazy.
No,
But
I've seen soldiers that have been through some stuff it's rough. Their face, they can't ever have a normal life again.
yeah, and I feel terrible for them. That's, in the weirdest way, I always tell people I got very lucky in my accident because my face didn't get burned other than this little spot right here, which
That pretty face is still here with
it's
us.
not. I was so ugly that it didn't matter. But no, the only spot on my whole face that got burned was this space because that's when I put my hands up
Right.
to protect.
Sure.
That's the only spot that didn't get covered and it got burned up. And then in this ear, some metal dropped down my ear canal and burned away my eardrum. But
Nice.
so in retrospect, one, I'm alive, which, you've seen The Shield. You saw the one episode of The Shield where they found the guy burned up from a meth lab exploding in his trunk.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was me. Might as well have been, because they talked to the hospital and they asked the doctor, how is he? And the doctor says, he's burned over 60% of his body. He's going to die.
Yeah.
And I was burned 69% and I lived, which is straight up luck. Even my doctors have told me they have no idea how I survived.
Right.
But grace of God, man, it's because I'm so.
It's your destiny. Hey, man, you got a show with Eric to do in a couple decades.
That's right. 30 years from now, you and Eric are going to do that show. God damn it.
That's right. So normally you wouldn't survive this, but now look, lucky you, you're gonna.
That's right. But yeah, burning is bad. And even if you survive it, this is why burning is bad. With drowning, you just go. You go. From what they say, it's a little bit peaceful right before you go, but you just go. Burning hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. Anybody's burned their finger on a stove knows.
Well, now that you mentioned it, I mean, I don't want to go on the burn center topic for too long.
No, that's fine.
But I had a terrible burn on the road once when I had like a candle going in my hotel room for some stupid reason, and it had got knocked over and set the lampshade on fire. I don't know. At some point, that moved to the bed and there was just a fire, and my instinct was to like put it out with my hands really quick.
Oh.
And I ended up melting my left finger pretty much to the bone. And it was so painful. They wanted to send me home from the tour.
Right.
And I was like, no, I can do it, and I was wrapping it and putting tons of Neosporin, and I probably should have gone to the hospital for it, and I didn't even get treatment for it, but I refused to go home. I'm like, no, I'm not going. I don't want to get replaced, whatever. But every time I tried to play it, my fingers would hit together. It was so painful. And I don't know how I got through it, but it's tears, every time your heart beats, you can feel it, the pain.
Oh yeah.
So I could just imagine having that all over your body is just so intense. You would need painkillers.
Dude, it was a lot of Percocet.
Yeah, I would have think so. Did you get addicted to the Percocets?
Oh yeah. Dude, this is so bad, but I always tell this. I should never. My doctors even asked me to stop telling this story, but I'm just going to keep telling it. I don't care. I lived far. This was 1994, 95. I lived like 25 miles from the hospital.
Wow, far,
and I wasn't, and I had little babies. My wife, my kids were little, like 3 and 1.5 or something. They were little. So under no circumstance was it convenient for me to go to the hospital any more than I had to. And as it was, I was at the hospital 6 days a week anyway, doing rehab and, whatever. I was 10 hours a day, 6 days a week for 14 months. It was a long time, relearning to walk and use my fingers and everything else. But the doctor, because he was cool, gave me a script that renewed every 30 days for Percocets, so that I could just go to my neighborhood pharmacy and just keep getting them, and they would just automatically renew.
Okay.
Well, I figured out early on that I could go whenever I wanted and they would renew them.
Nice.
And so I just went crazy, and I was taking like a full bottle of Percocets a week, like month's worth a week. I was just hammering them down. And after about 3 months, my doctor, we used to do what they would call show and tell, which was you had to come in every Thursday, show him your wounds. He'd look and see how you were healing and if there was any problems or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we called it show and tell. So I was at show and tell one week, and my doctor, Dr. Frack, comes in and he goes, I'm going to ask you something. I need you to be straight up with me. It's like, okay. He's like, are you selling your pain medicine? And I was like, no. And he's like, I understand you're not working. You need money. If you're selling it, it's fine. I'm not going to report it, but we got to do something about this. I was like, I'm not.
I'm actually taking all those.
I was like,
that's enough to kill a horse.
And I told him the truth. I told him, I said, one Percocet every 8 hours ain't cutting it. I got to take like 4 or 5 every 4 hours. I got to take a handful of these fucking things. Yeah. And he is like, well, that's in the past. And he changed me off of Percocet for Tylenol 3s for a week and then regular Tylenol.
Oh, that must have been a bad week.
Oh, dude. And I cannot explain to you how bad it hurt to move. I mean, getting up and sitting down was just, because I had
brutal.
I had a strip of graft right across my belly that would bend. Every time you sit and stand up, it would bend. And look, your belly is one thing. It's built that way. Yeah. A piece of meat strapped to you it takes a while to adjust and
Excuse me one moment.
I know it's horrible.
All right. I think we covered it. We covered it, Chris. We're there.
It hurt, man. That shit hurt, and that's why I was taking so many Percocets. But yeah, he pulled me off it, and I was terribly addicted for a while. But then then it just kind of, I got used to not taking it anymore, and luckily I didn't get too addicted to anything else other than food.
There's lots of people that from a medical situation become a raging drug addict from addiction. So it's good you've had the mental fortitude to get through it.
Yeah. And I mean, and I got through it, but just back to the point to wrap this up, burning is pretty bad. But let's be honest. Is there anything that's worse than I don't think there's anything worse than anything else. Have you ever broke a bone?
Not yet. I've dislocated a toe. I've never had a cavity. I'm like, been pretty fortunate, but I play things pretty safe, for the most part.
Well, even when you burned your finger.
Yeah.
When you burned your finger, for at least a week, there was nothing else in your mind except that burned fucking finger.
The throbbing finger. Oh, it was more than a week. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was
but that was all you could think about. And that's the same with my burn accident. Yeah, it was every minute of every day for a year and a half.
Did you get like workers' comp from this, or it happened at work, right? So you were pretty much. What was the cause? What caused this explosion to happen?
Well, there's a whole lot of argument about that.
Okay, well, you could tell whatever one you needed to tell for.
Officially,
what's the official?
Official was user error me.
Okay.
In my lawsuit, it was that they did not have the proper situation in place, the proper guidelines and stuff, and I followed my supervisor's lead and got blown up.
Right.
Conveniently for them, they cleaned up the area before the ambulance left with my fucking near dead body. So there was no real way to forensically investigate shit. So take that for whatever it was. I'm not going to say the name of the company. I'm not allowed to. I never have ever.
So there must have been a settlement. There was some sort of settlement, I guess.
There was a settlement. It wasn't look, I lost in court. I have no problem telling it. In court in Ohio, you have to prove intentional tort, which means not only is an accident bound to happen by the circumstances that they give you, but that accident was going to happen and they still made you work anyway. It's a near impossible standard.
Right.
And I lost, but thank Christ I was on the radio at the time. I was on WMMS at the time. Yeah. And I let them know. I was like, I'm going on the radio every fucking week. I am going to say the name of this company. I'm going to let people know what you did to me. I'm going to contact every one of your fucking buyers that buys the metal
Right.
that you guys make. I'm going to let them know that. And I'm going to let them know that I'm going to announce their names on the radio as well. You want to fucking play with me, cocksuckers? Let's go. And needless to say, then there was a check stroked off. Not a big one. Certainly not one to retire
Right, some
from.
go away money.
Yeah, some go away money. Exactly. Some go away money that was so, what I would say, little, that when I got the check, my wife cried that that's all we got.
Yeah.
It was
a lot
shitty.
of class actions are like that. My mom was part of some, like she got damaged from some products in the 70s. There was some birth control she was on, Dalcon Shield or something that caused problems with women organs down there or something.
Right.
And she ended up not getting anything by the time that all went down. I don't think she got a dime from this class action
Sucks.
from that back then.
Yeah, the lawyers all win. We never do.
Did you ever see Scanners, the movie Scanners?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was kind of based off stuff like that, like
Right.
side effects of some kind of weird birth control, because that was kind of in the news. Those big pharma products have been hurting people for a long time.
Right.
But in the movie, yeah, it made people be able to have the ability to scan, like the babies of these people that were on whatever thing had this special power where they could actually like read your thoughts and could even make your head explode if they were really good at it.
Yeah, that movie is very scary for
Michael
the time.
Ironside.
For the time, that was a scary ass movie.
Yeah,
I remember that came out like 78 or something, 77, 78, somewhere in there.
I think so.
I remember my dad taking me to that movie, and I was little.
Let's watch a preview from it.
Let me find it real quick. I just remember my dad taking me to this movie, and I was scared out of my fucking mind.
This is one that, as I've said many times, my dad always had 2 VCRs. And so anytime he rented something, he was able to like dupe a copy of it. And he would do a slow tape where the VHS would have like 5 movies on it. He would get these like 8-hour VHS tapes or something, or 6 hours. And he would put a bunch of movies on there. And Scanners was one that we had on tap, and I found myself putting in a lot. Kind of fascinated by some of these scary movies. These are movies I could still watch and be okay with. I feel like they were a different kind of scary movie than what's out there today with all the CGI and crazy killing. I tried watching 28 Years Later or one of these newer ones that was out. It was just too much, man. It was just so dreadful and like hyper violent that I just started feeling bad physically watching it, and there was no hope for these people in this movie. I'm like, I don't need to see this.
Yeah, we're into more gore horror than thoughtful horror. Like the movies in the 80s, even though they were campy, they were just they got your brain moving and they got you thinking, no, don't go in that cornfield, or don't hide in that barn, or and then the people would do it. You got invested in it. Now it's like, all right, if you want to get out of this room, you have to poke your eye out and stick a key behind it, or whatever.
Right.
Like,
you have to bash this other person's head in.
Yeah, you got to cut your own leg off to get out of this chain.
Right.
What the hell? I don't want to watch this.
Too much.
Yeah. All right, here's Scanners.
Okay.
God, this looks so old.
Yeah, I know. Feel old yet?
Yes. Meanwhile, this guy that we're getting ready to hear from, he's probably 31 in this movie.
Right. That's the other funny thing. Yeah, this guy he's 22 years old.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go.
I would like to scan all of you in this room, one at a time. I must remind you that the scanning experience is usually a painful one, sometimes resulting in nosebleeds, earaches, stomach cramps, nausea, sometimes other symptoms of a similar nature. At this point, I'd like to call for volunteers. Fine. Just sit right here, please. Now, I'd like you to think of something specific.
Do I have to close my eyes?
Doesn't matter.
All right, yes, I have something.
Bring it!
Love it.
The mind force. Scanners. Their thoughts can kill.
See, I'd watch that today.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch that. But I'll tell you what I wouldn't watch. A remake of that today.
I'm surprised they haven't remade it.
I am too, honestly.
All right, bring us back. We're in small teeny mode.
All right. Yeah, let's kind of wrap her up here. What are you playing this weekend? What are you doing?
Yeah, I have to
Right?
fly
You-
Thursday for the
the Vince Neil stuff or the
right,
Brett Michaels stuff?
right, Brett Michaels stuff. So, we can't get the video off.
What do you mean? The video's off?
Well, I just see a huge Scanners movie up there. I don't see us in our regular form where we're like in the centered in the
I
middle.
see us normal.
There you go. There you go.
Huh.
Whatever you just said.
I
Now
saw
we're
us. I saw
Now
us.
we're back.
All right.
Yeah. So Thursday I fly out, and then we play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I'm back Monday. So I'll be around for Chris Akin Presents. One thing that we can announce is the next Fright Bite.
Yes, please do.
And I did send you a photo. I don't know if you can get that still. It's not too far back.
Was it a text or an email?
Text. It was a text. It's not too far up from our text. And this is for a movie called Horror Hotel.
Horror Hotel.
Yeah. And Count Cracula picked this out, and on the 7th of August will be the next Fright Bite. I will send out invitations to my subscribers on the Erik Ferentinos Facebook subscriber group. And of course, if you're a Caps local, you get to be a part of this. But it's Chris Akin and Count Cracula hosting Crappy Movie Night. And
right.
we've been doing it for some year and a half. Wow.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but it's been getting better. I mean, the movies have been getting a little
sometimes good, sometimes awful.
I had a few of my subscribers ask. I actually gave the movie to a couple people that wanted to see it and didn't see it in the first day.
Okay.
So if you're one of my subscribers, I will actually take the time to send you like a Dropbox link of the whole thing. It's probably a gig and a half or 2 gigs, but you'll be able to like have it on your computer and watch it later or something if need be.
I would put the picture up, but it will not let me send it to myself. So
okay, not a big deal. But I'll announce it on my stuff. But Horror Hotel.
Horror Hotel. Now, have you had a chance to preview this once the Count told you about this movie?
We can. Well, I mean, if you want to watch the preview
Let's
tonight,
see if we can find it.
It's quick. Horror Hotel the movie.
YouTube. Let's see. Horror Hotel the movie trailer. Let's see what this is kicking. Oh boy, this already is starting to look a little iffy on the Count here.
All right.
I'm good with that. The more iffy, the better. Odd Noggins 3, I'm in.
Yeah, Odd Noggins was the best so far.
All right, here we go. Presentation. Here we go.
Sometimes a comatose patient will regain consciousness for a short while, only to relapse into a vegetative condition once again.
I'm not seeing it.
However, this patient will never regain consciousness.
It's on the screen.
Okay. Can you guys see this in the chat? Are you seeing a Haunted Hotel trailer in the chat right now?
Oh, we're going to ask him.
There we go.
They see it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, no. All right. Got some sexy. All right, that actually looks pretty good there, Eric. You can tell the county did well here.
I feel like I might have even watched a different trailer that was more intriguing, but yeah, it looks crappy, but not too bad.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to enjoy that one.
So that's on the 7th. Everybody
right,
will get
so-
invites for that.
August 7th, mark your calendars. We will be doing the Fright Bite.
Right.
And if you are in any, are there tickets still available for the Bret Michaels shows, or do you know?
I would think there would be. I think they're big venues, but it's
Okay.
it's billed as the Voices of Rock. Some of them are like amphitheaters and stuff, so I'm sure they got they have tickets.
All right. Well, if you are in any of the cities that Eric will be in this week, don't only go, but find Eric and say hello. Tell him you watch Chris Akin Presents. That'll make him more happy than anything.
That would.
All right. I think we are going to wrap this one up. You all know where I'll be. I'll be with Seth tomorrow. CMS on Saturday. Seth Monday. Right back here Tuesday with the great Erik Ferentinos. So,
one thing I want to say before we go, I
Yes.
just fired up an old YouTube channel that I've neglected for years that had almost 300 people on it.
Okay.
Called MickeyRatMadness.tv.
Nice.
MickeyRatMadness.tv. It was something that I had started years ago just to promote some Stephen Piercy stuff and maybe some unreleased tracks kind of thing on there. Never got any monetization from it. Obviously, I didn't even know how to do that back then, but I got hit with copyright strikes a lot, and I just kind of gave up. But I decided that some of my Road to videos I'll start posting over there for the people that aren't subscribers, so you could still see those. So if you head over to Mickey Rat Madness, rat with 2 T's, .tv on YouTube, I just posted a video today, and I'll start giving that some more love. And Sea Glass Hunters is doing great. The last episode, 4,000 views.
Very nice.
So very good. So thanks to people who are subscribing and enjoying that show. I'm going to be making the production, taking it up a notch here shortly, and just branching out. But I appreciate all the support, whether it's MickeyRatMadness.tv or Sea Glass Hunters. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. And of course, my subscribers on Facebook. That helps. Every little bit helps us.
That's right. So sign up. Don't be lame. Sign up. And that, my friends, is that. We are done. Eric, I will talk to you next week. Everybody else, I'll talk to you either next week or if you watch the other shows, on those shows. So this has been Chris Akin Presents, and we are gone. See you, folks.
Doesn't look like they're gone.